Hello. Today we will be interviewing Potato Nose. Potato Nose is the writer of things such as Sucker Punch, Unnatural Disaster, Playing with Legos, and Touch. Now, if any of those names ring a bell, it's because they are some of the most ridiculous, escalation-filled things that have been in the fandom in a while, it feels like. So yeah. Welcome, Potato Nose. So, how did you discover Worm?
My sister, actually. I was between obsessions at the time, having exhausted all interest in such trite fare as Naruto and Harry Potter fanfiction, when she says, "How do you feel about superheroes?" Then she sent me the web address via text message.
You've mentioned it a few times and I'm really curious how you do it, but how do you write all your fiction on your phone? I can barely manage to read space battles on my phone, and I've seen how much of a nightmare it is trying to write on it.
It's sort of like asking how primitive humans tolerated scanning game with flint knives. It's what they had. When you get down to it, that's the way humans are. We'll go through a lot of inconvenience doing something if the end result outweighs the inconvenience of the means. For me, being able to write outweighs the inconvenience of using swipe to do the writing.
Okay, fair enough. What was your favorite part of it?
I liked the concept of the Endbringer truce. Entities so powerful compared to the rest of the Cape scene that everybody dropped what they were doing, closed ranks despite political motivations, legal status, and even geography, then formed a line and put their lives on it to protect everyone they could. It was a good way to demonstrate that not every villain was a raging asshole or an irredeemable monster, just as the Shadow Stalker situation helped demonstrate that respected heroes could be villainous.
Huh. Fine. Your fiction often hits that cathartic point of escalation and action. How do you manage that?
Would you believe me if I told you I don't actually know? I write to appease me. I try to put myself in the shoes of the characters to find out how far they would go to attain their goals, what resources they have, how they might try to use them. Plus, I used to knife fight a long time ago, so I still remember what a fight feels like, and I try to express that in my writing.
Wait, actually? Actually? Well, shit. Well, all things being said about that, your fics do seem to stop updating once it hits a certain point in the story. Is that because you lose interest? You don't know how to continue? The fun escalation or action part has run its course and it's not as fun to write anymore? Or some other reason?
Usually, a combination of boredom, hiatus going too long, writing myself into a corner, or the story just stops being something I can see. Sometimes I get to a point where I'm not really the same person I was when I started the story, so my plan finish doesn't work for me anymore. Then, too, I get those times when the naysayers are actually pretty convincing when they point out my shortcomings in a story. I'd have to go back to chapter 3 to fix it, and rewrite 50,000 or so words to accommodate, because the plot point they're disputing is laced throughout the entire narrative, and I say, fuck it, time to go read our WBY fix for a while.
Fair enough, that is a fair enough reaction. So, what was your favorite thing to write?
Favorite? I'm a little spoiled in that regard. When the words are flowing, when I can see the plot and people clearly, when the descriptions feel spot on and rich without being distracting, that's my favorite thing to write. So it shifts from time to time. If I had to choose, though, I'm still pretty partial to the meeting between Dr. Destroyer and Ace and Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch was honest, yeah, I enjoyed that as well. Sucker Punch was probably the one choose your own adventure self-installed fic in the entire fandom that I do enjoy. There's good reason for that as well. And well, your most recent story, Touch, seems like it departs from your usual epic escalation. Is that just because it's too early to see how crazy it'll become? Because I'm starting to see some hints, but it feels like it's still build-up right now. Or do you have other plans?
Well, yes, we're still in the build-up phase. That said, Touch is a departure from my previous styles, because her shadows have some significant weaknesses to them, for all that she's not really encountered them. She's got a few villains and heroes who are going to be a horrible matchup for her simply because of those weaknesses.
Okay, fair enough. So what's your favorite fanfiction and why?
Favorite for me is a fractious concept. I don't tend to instinctively categorize what I like in order of magnitude. I have likes and dislikes, but I don't often go much further than that. I recognize that isn't very satisfying, though, so I'll give it a shot. There is one fanfiction series that has and to this day continues to blow me out of the water. It's a trilogy, and tragically, incomplete, by a writer named Evil Riggs on fanfiction.net. It starts with Amber Twilight, and it's a powerful re-envisioning of fanfiction. I especially love how so much happens in so little in world time. It's not a kid's fic, though, it staunchly earns its M rating.
Any other recommendations?
A few. Yklia's stuff, Axe later stories. After a rocky start, he came into his stride with his middle and later stories. Ryuugi is a good writer, Hiver is a damn legend, Becuzitswrong was an amazing author and his death was a loss to the community. There's a lot of good out there to choose from.
That was a bit tragic, wasn't it? Well, what can you do? Thank you very much, Potato Nose, for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time.